Bronx is up, but the battery's down. The people ride in a hole in the ground. New York, New York, it's a hell of a town. It is a whale of a town. It is a gas of a town. It is a wonderful town.
And it is the town that's thrown open its doors to the NBA for All-Star Weekend. Next up on All-Star Saturday night, the Schick rookie game, be coming your way in just a moment. Well, if you're just tuning in, we have had our first champions crowned in All-Star 2-ball. A thrilling final, as it turned out, between Utah and Houston, a couple of Midwest Division rivals in the NBA. But it's the WNBA-NBA duo that wins it from Houston. Cynthia Cooper and Clyde Drexler receiving their hardware as the first ever champions of All-Star 2-ball as they win over Tammy Reese and Karl Malone of Utah in the finals. Now, I hope earlier today you caught our first hour of coverage from Nagano, Japan, the 18th Olympic Winter Games, and the coverage continues tomorrow at 7 o'clock Eastern Time. Join Jim Lampley and our entire crew over there in Nagano for their coverage at 7 o'clock Eastern Time. How about the NBA schedule on Turner? Tuesday night, Sonics and Rockets on TNT. The following night, got the Sonics again on TBS as they take on the San Antonio Spurs at the Alamo Dome. And next Friday, the Pistons and the Heat on TNT from the Miami Arena. Time now for the Schick rookie game. And to call the action from the Brooks, a couple of grizzled veterans. Dick Stockton and Hubie Brown, guys.
I think you introduced us the same way last year.
It always fits.
And I think we said, why do you say grizzled? Even more grizzled is right. We're glad to be here. And, of course, you know, this is the fifth annual game, as you said. And, you know, Hubie, people are under the impression that you're either a lottery pick or a number one pick to play in this game, and it just ain't necessarily so.
Right, Dick. We have 16 players in the game. We have one free agent, not drafted, 2 second-round picks, 13 first-round picks. Now, 4 players who were in the lottery between 5 and 12 did not qualify for this game, Dick.
All right, now we have a great crop of rookies. Now, Tim Duncan is a rookie, but he is not playing tonight because he will be a reserve in the All-Star game for the West squad tomorrow from the San Antonio Spurs. Interesting, unprecedented. The Cleveland Cavaliers had 4 players selected to the all-rookie team. Derek Anderson not playing, but there are 3 others.
Well, you can see Klauskas, 7'3", great hands, rebound, the shot blocker. And then the man who leads the NBA in steals, Brevin Knight, point guard, and then a second-round draft pick, Henderson out of Memphis, averaging 10 points a game at the small forward position.
Now, Tracy McGrady from the Toronto Raptors replacing Derek Anderson, the youngest player in the NBA.
Now we have Chauncey Billups, the 3rd pick in the draft, the point guard for the Boston Celtics, averaging 11 points, having a banner year. Then we have Mercer, the 2 guard, 2nd leading scorer from the East, averaging 14 points a game.
How about Tim Thomas from Villanova playing with the Sixers at 6'10", a 3-point buzzer.
And then the man who's having a fantastic year, Van Horn from New Jersey, 20 points, 6 rebounds a game.
Now in the West, Bobby Jackson, he is an all-purpose player at 6'1" for the Denver Nuggets.
Now Alden Williams, a 2nd-round draft pick for Portland out of Villanova, an excellent backup to Kenny Anderson. And then we have Antonio Daniels, the 4th pick in the draft, and having a nice year, averaging 9 a game. Roderick Rose, the surprise first-rounder for Houston.
Another Nugget is Danny Fortson. He's a pretty strong player inside, Hubie.
Now, at 6'9", 260, we have Mo Taylor from Michigan doing it for the Clippers, 11 a game. Then we have Michael Stewart, the shot blocker, 7th in the league in shot blocking, not drafted. And then Kelvin Cato out of Iowa State and doing a nice job in shot blocking for the Portland Trailblazers.
And Cato is replacing Tim Duncan on the West squad. And as you look at both of these squads, is there a characteristic or a contrast between the East and the West in this game?
Well, Dick, you look at the East, you have 6 guys who've averaged double figures. Now, in order to average double figures in the NBA, you have to get minutes and shot attempts. And the Western squad, you only have 2 guys averaging double figures, but we have 2 of the better shot blockers in Stewart, ranked in the top 7 in the NBA, and then Kelvin Cato, who had 9 one night against Utah. maybe a little defense, better rebounding and shot blocking at the West.
All right, and we have two members of the New York Knicks championship team who are the coaches for this game. There is Willis Reed, who is the captain of the two Knicks championship teams. He got a pass there from Dave DeBusschere. There is Reed with Dave DeBusschere. DeBusschere, the last piece in the puzzle in 1970 when the Knicks won their first title.
Well, when you think of Willis Reed, and Dave, you think of two guys in the top 50 who have ever played the game. Willis Reed, the MVP of the league in the two championship years for the Knicks. Dave DeBusschere, 6-time all-defensive first-team performer. So we know there's some talent on both benches here tonight.
And you can't ask for two more popular guys coaching these teams. Right now, let's go over to Brian Burwell.
Thanks a lot, Dick. Now, we're here with the women and the men in black, the celebrity coaches of the rookie game. For the West, we have actress Linda Fiorentino, and for the East, filmmaker Spike Lee. We're going to go with women first. Now, Linda, you have some concern about being mic'd for this game. Now, why in the world is that?
Well, indeed, I heard the censor was out last night till about 4 o'clock in the morning, and I don't think he's quick enough to react to some of the things I might say in the passion of the game.
The woman does have game. She plays ball all the time with Reggie. Now, Spike, is there any sort of bet that you guys have? Now, if she wins, does she get in one of your next movies?
Nah, I mean, David Stern is watching this very closely, so there's no wagering on any NBA events.
Now, what I want to know from both of you, how much coaching are you two guys really going to be doing? Are you going to push these NBA greats out of the way and do some coaching?
Well, if Captain Willis Reed and Bob Mack don't hold me back, I'm ready to go.
You're going to get thrown out of the game?
I like to think of myself as the moral support of the team.
All right, let's go back to Dick on that note.
A honorary coach with a videotape camera. You're going to have better concentration from Spike on this. Coming up, we'll have the 5th annual Schick All-Rookie Game from Madison Square Garden.
Ready, Joe?
You ready? You ready? Yeah, I'm ready.
TNT is brought to you by Hyundai, where driving is believing. Test drive one at your local Hyundai dealer today.
Getting to know the NBA stars of the future. The rookies take center stage.
Getting to know you. Getting to know all about you. Getting to like you. Getting to help you like me. Getting to know you. Putting it my way, but nicely. You are precisely my cup of.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's the 5th annual Schick Rookie Game, presented jointly by the NBA and the National Basketball Players Association. Let's meet the competitors. First, the West team. The head coach of the Western Conference rookie team was named one of the NBA's 50 greatest players and helped your own New York Knicks capture championships in 1970 and 1973. Please welcome Hall of Famer Dave DeBusschere. The assistant coach for the West from the Sacramento Kings coaching staff, Mike Bratz. And the trainer for all of tonight's All-Star Saturday events from the Seattle Supersonics, Frank Furtado. And now the players for the West team. From the Portland Trailblazers at guard, Alvin Williams.
This is an NBA Stereophonics.
From the Portland Trailblazers at center, Kelvin Hayco. From the Los Angeles Clippers at forward, Maurice Taylor. From the Sacramento Kings at center, Michael Stewart. From the Houston Rockets at guard, Roderick Rose. From the Denver Nuggets at guard, Bobby Jackson. Also from the Denver Nuggets at forward, Danny Fortson. From the Vancouver Grizzlies at guard, Antonio Daniels. And the honorary coach for the West, a great actress and hoops fan, Linda Fiorentino. And now, the Eastern Conference rookie team. The head coach for the East rocked this building with his Game 7 heroics in the 1970 NBA Finals. His number 19 was the first Knick number to be retired. Please welcome seven-time All-Star, Willis Reed. The assistant coach for the East from the Miami Heat coaching staff and former Knick, Bob McAdoo. And the trainer for all of tonight's All-Star Saturday events from the Boston Celtics, Ed Lesser. And now, let's meet the players for the East team. Injured and unable to participate from the Cleveland Cavaliers, Derek Anderson. From the Cleveland Cavaliers at forward, Cedric Henderson. Also from the Cleveland Cavaliers at center, Zydrunas Ilgauskas. Another rookie from the Cleveland Cavaliers at guard, Brevin Knight. From the Toronto Raptors at guard, Tracy McGrady. From the Boston Celtics at guard, Chauncey Billups. Also from the Boston Celtics at guard, Ron Mercer. From the Philadelphia 76ers at forward, Tim Thomas. From the New Jersey Nets at forward, Keith Van Horn. And the honorary coach for the East, the New York Knicks #1 fan, filmmaker Spike Lee. Ladies and gentlemen, the Schick Rookie Game competitors.
And here are the rules for the Schick Rookie Game. And we'll take a look at them. There will be two 15-minute halves. The clock will run until the last minute of each half. Each team will get one timeout in the first half, two in the second. And if tied at the end of regulation, the first team to score 3 points will be the victor. And here are the starting lineups. 8 players on each roster. And for the Western Conference starters, Bobby Jackson is starting in the backcourt along with Antonio Daniels. Roderick Rhodes is up front. Michael Stewart is the center. And Maurice Taylor, the other forward for the West. For the East Stars, it'll be Brevin Knight and Ron Mercer in the backcourt. Tim Thomas and Keith Van Horn flank Zydrunas Ilgauskas up front for the Eastern Conference Stars. The officials, David Jones, Monty McCutcheon, and Tony Brothers. And we're set to go in this game. And it's last couple of years, they've been in the 90s and they've been close games.
And also remember that in the 4 previous games, the MVP was a point guard. And Hardaway, Iverson, Stoudemire, and then Eddie Jones from the Lakers won at the other time. Now, what does that mean? The perimeter players control the basketball. The inside post-up people are at the mercy of the perimeter players to get a shot.
Also, he'll be the last two you mentioned, Stoudemire and Iverson. They not only were the MVP in this game, went on to be named the Rookie of the Year in the NBA. So we're set to go, and a rookie game and a chance to impress, as Kobe Bryant did last year with 30 points, although Allen Iverson was spectacular. Underway, and the tip controlled by the West. Antonio Daniels in the backcourt. Daniels from Vancouver misses the shot, and Keith Van Horn gets the rebound. Brevin Knight to Ron Mercer. And over the top, it'll be West ball.
Now, when in these games, you have to remember the players only got together for 1 hour yesterday to work out. Naturally, the coaches aren't putting anything of any consequence in. Basically, the defenses are somewhat matador, okay, a little bit like summer basketball.
And one of these days, we're going to get someone who's going to be an outstanding defensive player, and he'll put that aspect of the game on the map in the rookie game. Brevin Knight, one of 3 Cavaliers playing in the game, throws it away. Roderick Rose with a fancy pants to Jackson, behind to Maurice Taylor, formerly from Michigan, who coming off the bench has averaged nearly 11 a game.
Yeah, they really like his talent out in L.A. They like the fact that he can shoot the ball facing and also post up and score and shoot a high percentage, Dick.
Ilgauskas and Van Horn, pretty big front line for this team. And there is Brevin Knight from Stanford, and he overthrows Van Horn. Last year, if I remember, we also had a flurry of turnovers to start the game.
Yeah, well, they really don't know one another, and they're anticipating. And you think of Brevin Knight, the guy's averaging 3 assists for every turnover, which ranks in the top 7 in the NBA.
So he has been an impact rookie as the Cleveland Cavaliers change their entire roster. And there is the basket scored by Jackson. And he is an all-round player. Bobby Jackson at 6'1", formerly of Minnesota. And Ron Mercer has the ball knocked away by Antonio Daniels. Good defensive play. Here is Jackson. And he lays it in for the first 2 baskets for the West.
Well, you know, at Minnesota, he drove them to the Final Four a year ago. And this season, he's having a difficult time just being a point guard because he scores first. And, you know, the assists and turnovers are at a bad ratio right now. But he has a terrific game, Dick.
West has it. They have a 6-0 lead. And they've got the ball again. Jackson, who's been hot so far, misses the 3, and the rebound on the other side by Michael Stewart. And Van Horn gets the rebound. As we said, Tim Duncan would have obviously played in this game, but he has been selected as one of the reserves tomorrow in the All-Star game. Jadrunas Ilgauskas misses. Loose ball underneath, and Roderick Rhodes gets it out to Daniels. Here's Daniels. No one picks him up, and Antonio Daniels, the 4th pick in the draft, who leads Vancouver in assists, makes it 8-0.
Now, he's explosive in the open floor. He has a little difficulty when they get in the half-court offense, shooting a high percentage and getting a lot of points. But he distributes the ball well for Vancouver.
Here is Ilgauskas, and he draws the foul. How good has Ilgauskas been for this team this year?
Dick, think about it. First-round draft pick in '96, never played college basketball in Lithuania, 7'3", comes to with Cleveland, sits out an entire year because of major foot surgery, adds 25 pounds. Now, to me, the surprise of the year has been this young man, in my opinion. We're talking about a guy who plays 25, 26 minutes a game, gives you 13 points, 9 rebounds, 2 shot blocks, and is really a force and has a terrific game when he's back to the basket.
No question about it. Next to Tim Duncan, who averages over 11 rebounds, he is the top rebounding rookie in the league, and why Cleveland is a big threat in the Eastern Conference.
Well, you think of Cleveland, they're 27-20. Out of their first 6 players, everyone's new. 4 rookies with Person and Kemp, and they have 27 wins. These 4 rookies are great. Now, Derek Anderson isn't playing tonight because of knee surgery. Yeah, but the main thing with him is, how about 13 a game?
Tim Thomas with a stop. Thomas from Villanova playing in his college hometown of Philadelphia at 6'10", best known for threes, but he stuffed that one through. And Maurice Taylor misses from the corner. And here is Brevin Knight, finds Ron Mercer. Mercer with a fall-away hit. Mercer, one of 2 Celtics on this team, and another former Kentucky Wildcat playing now for Rick Pitino in the NBA.
Now, he's averaging 14 a game and shooting a pretty good percentage. The thing that surprises me, Dick, Mercer is 2 for 22 and 3. He's not a 3-point shooter. Kind of interesting.
Here is Michael Stewart, who they nicknamed Yogi, and he is the 5th best shot blocker in the NBA. He averaged nearly 7 rebounds a game, and you talked about non-number 1 picks. He wasn't even drafted.
They brought him in to work out against some players that they were thinking of drafting high, Sacramento. Why? Because he lives in the town. He all of a sudden, he's showing them great defense, shot blocking ability. They bring him back to the regular camp. He makes the team. After a while, they're not happy with Polynice at the center position. Boom, he's in the starting lineup and doing a sensational job.
Roderick Rhodes, and he's picked up a lot of loose balls under the basket for the West thus far. And he, too, a former Kentucky Wildcat before he transferred. And Taylor shot off the rim. Taken away by Jackson. Great save. Nice. By Bobby Jackson. And there is Michael Stewart with a high wire act. And Stewart scores. He has 5. Jackson has 4. And it's a 13-6 West lead.
Now, when you look at Stewart, he's a legit 6'10". Out of the University of California, well coached out there by Ben Braun. And, he's nothing but the upside.
And the same, of course, as you've talked about with Žydrūnas Ilgauskas, the Lithuanian 7'3" center, and it's a 5-point West advantage.
Ilgauskas, Dick, has every offensive move that a postman should have. And for a young player, that's rare.
Roderick Rhodes with a turnaround, and I know how much you appreciate good big men because that was really the centerpiece of your team. Mercer passes up the 3, comes inside the line. Ilgauskas trying to tap it out, but it goes to the West. And an errant toss out of bounds, and it's East Bowl with 10:14 remaining in the first half. Keep in mind, as you look at Bob McAdoo and Willis Reed of the East team, you cannot foul out in this game. But after 10 team fouls, there is a penalty tacked on.
Yeah, that's a great rule. So that way everyone gets a chance to play and nobody's worrying about fouling. Just play, get up and down, have a good time.
Tim Thomas is missed. Rhodes. And now Jackson hits. So Bobby Jackson, who's the second leading scorer on the Nuggets, averaging nearly 14 a game and a 7-point West lead. Jackson has 6. Stewart gets the rebound. Rhodes releasing at the other end, and Roderick Rhodes. What about Rhodes, who has started the last 11 games at small forward?
Yeah, everyone questioned Houston when they picked him at 24, Dick. He had a somewhat year at USC in his final season. But you're talking about a guy who started 11 games for him now and doing an excellent job with the points, garbage, and small forward in the 2-guard position.
That was Antonio Daniels in a timeout as the West has opened up an 11-point lead placed by Bobby Jackson's 6 points. Ilgauskas has 4 to lead the East, and we'll be right back. The last 2 years leading by 11, and tomorrow night starting at 8 on TNT, watch a John Wayne double feature of The War Wagon with Kirk Douglas, followed by Hellfighters with Jim Hutton. That's tomorrow night at 8 on TNT.
Tracy McGrady, Cedric Anderson, and Chauncey Billups are all net.
9:21 remaining in the first half, 15-minute hands. And Chauncey Billups has come in along with Cedric Henderson for the East Stars and Tracy McGrady. McGrady at 18, the youngest player in the NBA right now, with Kobe Bryant in his second year, and Billups comes in with a smash.
Yeah, Billups is a very heady screen and roll player, and he has the range to knock in the 3. They could have gone either way that time. Post Van Horn or take the 3 or the long jump shot.
Maurice Taylor trying to post up against Tracy McGrady, does and connects. Maurice Taylor, who had 26 points and 5 rebounds against the Crosstown Lakers earlier this year.
And he did it in 20 minutes, which is amazing.
That is amazing.
Yeah, he can post up down inside. You can see he's got a wide frame, Dick, and he's got the physical strength in the upper shoulder area.
Here's Billups, and we were impressed with him in Game 1 when the Celtics beat the Bulls at the Fleet Center. Keith Van Horn with his first basket on his first shot of the game.
If you've never seen Van Horn play before, this guy can do it all. He's got great hop. He can touch the top of the box above the rim, which is 11 feet. He's got a 3-point game. He can post up. He's an 85% foul shooter, and he's got the in total package.
He's a good inside-outside player, and of course, small forward would be his ideal position. Leading New Jersey at 19.5 points a game, as you see, and leading NBA rookies with 6 rebounds as well, and a great free throw shooter too. They reset the 24-second clock. Now we have 16 on it with 8:15 remaining in the first half as Jackson's pass skips by Daniels.
Yeah, he got a bad skip that time. That was a good ball, Dick. That was thrown too hard and had a bad angle.
Danny Fortson of the Denver Nuggets, Kelvin Cato, who replaced Tim Duncan. He plays for the Trailblazers, and Alvin Williams, a 6'5" guard from Villanova, also a member of the Blazers in the game.
What you like to see is that all the players get an equal chance to show their wares. Now, when you are a rookie in the NBA, if you get drafted by a playoff team, well, you're probably not going to get a lot of minutes and naturally a lot of shot opportunities. If you're on a losing team, you have minutes, you have points, you get shot attempts, everything is going your way.
Right now, let's check in with Brian Burwell. Brian?
Coming a regular at these All-Star games, but there's more to it than just coming to watch basketball, isn't it?
This is my 5th All-Star game. I bring my son every year. If he does good in school, this is our little bonding trip together.
Where is he right now?
He's on court. He's a ball boy.
You know, this guy has pull. This is why it's good to be a big-time actor.
No. There's nothing about pull. He's just a good kid, and he does good.
All right. Thanks a lot. Okay. Back to you.
He earned it, Brian. Remember that.
There you go.
All right. Henderson with an arcing shot good. Cedric Henderson, who has moved into the starting lineup with a splash, averaging 12 points a game.
This guy's got a game, and it's all off the dribble and on the offensive boards and in the open floor.
For the Cleveland Cavaliers, Danny Fortson lays it in. We told you about his strength. Second leading rebounder for the Nuggets, and he's gone to the line more than any other Denver player.
Well, on the floor right now, you have Fortson at 260 and also Taylor at 260 for the West. You get Cato in there as a 6'10" shot blocker. So let's see if they can make a major splash here. All-Star games are played in peaks and valleys, a lot of streaks.
Sounds like an offensive line in an NFL team with some of the weights you mentioned. Tracy McGrady hits a three. So McGrady, who came from Mount Zion Christian Academy in Durham, North Carolina, to the NBA as the 9th overall pick, cuts the West lead to 5. Playing for the Toronto Raptors.
Yeah, he's had his minutes, cut down because of injuries. And also when he came back, he was not able to excel against the proven pro players.
It's funny watching Phillips and Mercer. It's Rick Pitino style all over again with his center court trap with 2 Celtics.
Hey, they don't know any other way, because if they do not do this at all times, you're on the bench in a heartbeat.
Chauncey Billups misses from the perimeter, but Keith Van Horn keeps it alive. That's his 4th rebound. He has hit his only shot of the game. We have under 7 minutes to go, and Cato gets a piece of Henderson's shot. Taylor, Jackson, no-look pass to Fortson, and the 2 Denver Nuggets, who are rookies and impressive ones combined, and a foul. Fortson will go to the free throw line.
When you look at all of these rookies in this game, they're the only guys who are shooting 50% are inside players like Henderson and Ilgauskas. Then also Stewart from Sacramento. The majority of the perimeter players are all in the low 40s and high 30s. So for all you college guys who are out there and you're watching television, you see NBA games, you think that you're going to just step right in here and shoot a high percentage like you're at college. You better come with a game, because in the NBA, 24-second clock, great defense. They pressure you into low shooting percentages until you can take the physical punishment and then shoot a high percentage.
Ilgauskas replaces Van Horn. And also a lesson here is that you don't have to be a lottery pick or a number 1 to be in this game and be a good rookie.
Oh, absolutely not.
McGrady, Ilgauskas from the corner. And there's Ilgauskas getting the pass back from Mercer. Great pass from Ron Mercer, and Ilgauskas now with 6 points to lead the East Stars. Jackson still with 6, the top scorer for the West.
Now remember, Ilgauskas is 7-3.
Jackson hits from the perimeter. He's got 8, and it's 25-20 the West. 7-3, pretty nimble for a 7-3, as Billups is fouled by Alvin Williams.
Everything with Ilgauskas is easy, Dick. He's never rushing anywhere. See, and now he has great hands. Now I know that was an easy catch, but he catches the ball in traffic. Then he has power moves, drop step moves. He's got the fadeaway jump shot. He dunks strong with both hands, and then he's got the baby hooks with either hand. He came well schooled in offensive fundamentals.
Cavaliers with just about an entirely new roster, new starting 5. And as you mentioned, 27-20. Mike Fratello's done a terrific job with his team. They've got power, they've got speed and Brevin Knight. So they're a team to watch in the second half, but Derek Anderson will be out 6 to 8 weeks, and that'll hurt.
Yeah, and he's averaging 13 points for them, and he's 4th in the league in foul shooting at 88%. So he is another tough scorer.
Alvin Williams will go to the free throw line, fouled by Tim Thomas. And Thomas from Villanova fouls Alvin Williams from Villanova, who replaced Kenny Anderson this year, and the Blazers continue to win.
Dick, he did a magnificent job. He started 8 games. He does not rush things. He's 6'5". He takes his time. He keeps Portland within their half-court sets. Now, the night that we had, Bob Neal and I did Utah losing to Portland. He was the point guard that night, got close to 20 points. but he played a flawless backcourt game. I really liked his tempo.
And he was picked in the second round, the 48th pick in the draft. McGrady, who hit a 3 earlier, misses, and Ilgauskas follows with the basket. So Žydrūnas Ilgauskas now with 8 points to go along with 4 rebounds. And the West, which has led all the way in this game, or many by 11, have their lead down to 4. And a foul is called, and we're going to get Roderick Rhodes and Antonio Daniels come back in for the West.
Last year's game, Dick, was the poorest played of all of the rookie games. It was long passes, alley-oops, no one guarding. It was totally disrespect for any kind of organization. Tonight, we're getting like a nice tempo here. Guys are playing together. They're looking for guys. If you're free, the guy is getting you the basketball.
Kelvin Cato with the hook shot. And Henderson misses. And the follow-up good. And the basket by Tim Thomas. And it is now 28-24.
You know, Tim Thomas, Dick, everyone was questioning why he would come out of Villanova at the end of his freshman year. Now, I know he was Rookie of the Year of the Big East, but he did not have an overwhelming type of a season. So guys question whether or not he could shoot a high percentage. And, you know, he's shooting 47, 37 in threes, and 71 on the line. Not bad.
Best three-point shooting rookie in the NBA at that 37%. Not bad for 6'10". Here's Williams. And the rebound by Tim Thomas. So it's 28-25. The East was down, as we said, by as many as 11. They've climbed back, trailing by 3 with under 4 or 5 minutes to go. Henderson to Ilgauskas, who hits. Good ball movement by a couple of Cavaliers.
Well, Henderson is so quick. You turn your head guarding Henderson. He is quick. Out of Memphis, 6'7", you know, long arms, quick body. And if you notice, he could have forced that shot. He gave it right up to the big fella.
So it's a 1-point game, but driving the hoop is Cato. And Cato was fouled, and he'll go to the line to shoot 2.
Now just keep an eye on the cut right there. Now watch. He could have forced that shot, but you reward the big fella. Why do you reward the big fella? On the fast break in 2-on-1 situations, so that they will continue to rebound, block shots, and get the ball out at the other end.
Kelvin Cato on the free throw line makes the first. He has led the Trailblazers in shot blocking. Brevin Knight replaces Tracy McGrady. Cato had, talking about Cato at the line, who was a late replacement, he had 8 blocks against Utah, which was 1 shy of the Trailblazers record set by both Bill Walton and Michael Thompson. Pretty strong company.
Well, I did that game that night, and I tell you, he was overpowering, and it saved them the game, and they defeated Utah at home. Now, in this game tonight, we have Brevin Knight from New Jersey, Seton Hall. We have Timmy Thomas from Patterson Catholic, Patterson, New Jersey. And then also you have Roderick Rhodes from St. Anthony's of Jersey City.
And Hubie Brown from New Jersey.
Well, I got to get him in.
I know.
You realize the pressure?
Yes, I do. Brevin Knight behind the board, stripped away out of bounds, and it is still East ball with 19 on the shot clock. So here's who's in there right now. It is Brevin Knight, along with Ilgauskas and Henderson, 3 Cavaliers, along with Tim Thomas and Keaton Van Horn.
Great hands that time by Williams.
Good fake by Van Horn. Try to get it inside to Ilgauskas. And nice. Daniels from Cato. Cato kept it alive, and Antonio Daniels, who played at Brigham Young, known for 2 former NBA players in Nate Thurmond and Howard Comize. Or I should say Bowling Green. Bowling Green. BGU. Okay, here's Henderson.
Nice shot block that time.
6 on the shot clock for Henderson. Here's Ilgauskas.
Big fella. The big fella's got more than one move.
And Fortson on the other end, so they didn't get back. That's the defensive lapse. Brevin Knight finding Van Horn, who goes through. And it's 33-31 with 3:18 remaining. So 12 for Ilgauskas. Thomas has 5. Jackson with 8, still the leading scorer for the West.
See, I like this. Dave DeBusschere is not going to allow the game to get to be a rat race. He called a quick timeout and says, look, let's get together here right now. Let's play together as a team.
Youngest coach in history of the NBA at age 24 was Dave DeBusschere when he was a player coach for the Detroit Pistons.
Dave, and as you know, Dick, back at that time, he was coaching the Pistons and also pitching in the major leagues for the Chicago White Sox, and gave it up when he came with the Knicks. And then after his career, He was the president and general manager of the New Jersey Nets in the old ABA when they won the championships, and then was the last commissioner in the ABA.
And when we said DeBusschere was the last piece in the Knick puzzle in 1970, that was in a deal for Howard Comives, who had played at Bowling Green, as did Nate Thurman. And when the Knicks got DeBusschere, they won the championship.
Well, he was the solid piece. You think of that front line, Bradley, Reed, and DeBusschere, and in the backcourt you had Frazier. And the championships, you know, you had Barnett the one year, and then we had Earl the Pearl Monroe on the next championship team. It was a great time for basketball in the city of New York. And also a sub on that team at 6'10", a defensive stopper, Bill Jackson.
Yes, Bill Jackson. Looping pass in, Ilgauskas got a piece of it. They try to get Kelvin Cato for an easy lob, nothing doing, but the West has it with 3:08 remaining in the first half, leading the East 33-31. Everyone on the West team has scored, all 8 players. Van Horn got the rebound. Brevin Knight to Ilgauskas. No-look pass to Cedric Henderson, and a 2-point basket. And the Cavaliers showing why they have so many impressive rookies.
Yeah, well, you can see these guys. They really have talent. And then you have a slasher in Anderson. Then you have Kemp posting up. Person, one of the better 3-point shooters that we have in the league.
And Van Horn, the score is tied at 33. And Henderson missed. Ilgauskas missed a tip. Out of bounds. West ball. And the East has made up an 11-point deficit with 2.5 minutes remaining in the first half. Michael Stewart comes back into the game, the Sacramento Kings big man, as well as Bobby Jackson, the point guard.
You're watching the East team. You have to like the quickness and the smartness of Henderson and Ilgauskas. Now we're talking 6'7", 7'3", 2 guys. Everyone passed up on these guys. They move quick.
Daniels inside to Stewart, deflected by Brevin Knight. Good defensive play by the Stanford point guard. Now with the Cavaliers, and a diving shot. Look at that. Jackson was on his back when the ball went through the hoop. And that is Bobby Jackson's basket, the Big Ten Player of the Year last year for the Golden Gophers.
Yeah, and then also, Dick, you know, you can see him right now. He's an exploit. He's always been a scorer. Out of North Carolina, high school basketball, went to junior college for a couple of years. Big Ten, like you said, Player of the Year, and also Defensive Player of the Year in the Big Ten.
So Bobby Jackson with 11 points. He is the high scorer for the West. Ilgauskas has 12. For the East, there is Van Horn going against 2 defenders, and Keith Van Horn will go to the line. Van Horn was out the first month of the season with a sprained ankle. He was the second pick in the draft by the 76ers, and in a blockbuster deal went to New Jersey.
Well, you have to love his talent. Right now they're playing him as a power forward with Kendall Gill at the small forward, Jason Williams at center. But now that Gatling is back off of his injury, when you think of the Nets with the record they have, 27 wins, and Van Horn missed all these games, and Gatling has missed so many games. Gatling's back. Now they can play Gatling at power forward, move Van Horn over. They are flexible, and they are quick.
Only 3.5 behind the Miami Heat in the Atlantic Division, ahead of the rivals in the metropolitan area, the Knicks. Antonio Daniels with an impressive runner. He started all but 1 game, averaging nearly 9 for the Vancouver Grizzlies. 38-35, the West regaining the lead after the East tied it up at 33. Brevin Knight inside to Henderson, and Cedric Henderson.
Henderson's going to be a guy in this league that you're going to talk about. They run no plays for him. He just backdoors people, gets on the glass, scores in the open floor.
1:19 to go. Daniels hits the shot, and he didn't have control of the ball when he went up with it.
This is a guy who's struggling with his shooting percentage in the NBA. And an interesting thing, he's enjoying playing the off-guard position in this game.
He is. 5 for 6 from the field for Daniels. Well, still to come, the Sony $1 million shot. And who will do it? No one has ever done it. Saul Holzman from Forest Hills, New York, warming up. Kind of an unorthodox delivery. Ernie Grunfeld said before the game, he says, I didn't teach him that shot.
Hey, all I know is that Ernie Grunfeld autographed the ball for the guy, gave it to him as a good luck piece. And with Grunfeld, Holzman, and Stockton from Forest Hills High School. Watch out, a dynamite trio.
You know, Forest Hills High School had a lot of fine basketball players. Stuart Hockman and Stu Schachter for many years, and Ernie Grunfeld may be the best ever there.
Yes, indeed.
We're going to have a jump ball with 1:05 remaining in the first half. All 16 players have now scored in the game.
Well, when you get into an all-star game, all you ask the coach to do is to give you equal minutes and a chance to show your wares. And I like what Willis and Dave are doing tonight. They're giving everybody a chance to play, split up the minutes, and let's go from there. Well, we have a little voice calling from the background here around McAdoo and Willis Reed.
You know, he's not a little voice during Knick games, as you know. No. Sitting in that first row, he's hardly that. Spike Lee, Roderick Rhodes working his way against the taller Van Horn. Maurice Taylor, the bright red Clipper uniform, misses, and the rebound by Brevin Knight. 40-38 as the East looking to tie it up for the second time in this first half. They have never led. Here's Van Horn, and he could have given the East the lead. And a foul called. And Ilgauskas gets hit with it.
Oh, that's a tough goal. Anytime that a big guy is standing and holding his position and just reaching straight up in the air, that's very difficult to take.
But we'll accept it. Half a minute remaining and 21 on the shot clock. 40-38, the West leading here in the fifth rookie game here at the All-Star break. Great block by Ilgauskas on Stewart. That's pretty good. Ilgauskas blocking a 6'10". Taylor with a great feed in to Michael Stewart, who gets the basket. So Stewart, who leads the Sacramento Kings in shooting at 54%, makes it 42-38 the West. Playing for the last shot now. Chauncey Billups picked up by Taylor. Time running out, and he won't get it off.
Waited too long.
And that is the end of the first half with the score. The West 42, the East 38. Don't go away. The great Rockettes from the Radio City Music Hall are going to perform, and you'll see it all right here at Madison Square Garden on All-Star Saturday night on TNT.
At 6th Avenue and 50th, you find Radio City Music Hall, the largest indoor theater in the country and home of the legendary Rockettes. Here at halftime of the rookie game, we turn it over to public address announcer Mike Walshevsky. have been performing since 1932. Not that group specifically, but the Radio City Rockettes since the year 1932, performing here at halftime of the Schick rookie game. It's All-Star Saturday night on TNT. Ernie Johnson back with you. One of the great things about any All-Star weekend is the NBA Jam session. They held it at the Javits Center here in New York. And last night they had something special going on featuring a couple of NBA rookies. This is a little on the bizarre side. It's the Schick Protector Face-to-Face Celebrity Challenge with Tim Duncan and Keith Van Horn. There you see Keith with Spike Lee, and Duncan was with actor Antonio Sabato Jr. The loser getting a shave. With Keith Van Horn raising his arms in victory there, it means he got the honor of shaving Sabato. So a player from the Nets performing with no nicks at the Jam session. Let's go back courtside to Dick and Hubie, guys.
All right, Ernie, thank you very much. 42-38, the West lead, and no wonder with Jackson and Daniels, 10 of 12 from the field, the two starting guards shooting 56%. No wonder they're up, but it's a pretty interesting game, and we're seeing a little showtime, aren't we?
Yeah, I like it. You're getting good perimeter play, penetration. At one end, Ilgauskas is doing a great job with the 12 points and the 6 rebounds. And in the East, surprisingly, 8 offensive rebounds. Van Horn right there with 7. So it's been a nice game, and what I like about it is the coaches are making them play together as a team. No summer basketball.
Well,
nice.
you are very impressed with Zydrunas Ilgauskas, who has 12 points and 6 rebounds. Let's take a look at some of his play in that first half.
Well, we tell you before, he has great hands. He moves well. He's soft inside. You see that? Nice fake. He's a smart player, very heady, out of Lithuania. He plays on the Lithuania national team. He was a great player on their junior clubs. And like we said at the beginning, 7-3, rebounder, shot blocker, and prime time scorer.
Now, the last 2 years, the MVP of this game went on to be the Rookie of the Year, Damon Stoudemire 2 years ago, Allen Iverson. That will not be the case this year because I think Mr. Duncan, who's playing in tomorrow's game, is going to be heavy favorite to be the Rookie of the Year. Let me ask you, as you've looked at rookies around the league and we see players in this game, talk about what you've seen of Tim Duncan and what he has meant in his rookie year with the San Antonio Spurs.
Well, Timmy Duncan gets a great break because he goes to a team with a proven all-star player in David Robinson, takes the pressure off of him. So he's coming in. He's leading the league in double-doubles. Now, that alone should say a lot. Never mind the fact that he's in the top 10 in shot blocking, rebounding, and also field goal percentage. Plus, the guy scores double figures every night out. And like David Robinson says, we're not looking for him down the road. He's doing it now.
Yes, he is. Right now, let's send it over to Craig Sager.
Well, Dick, he'll be a very great story tonight, the $1 million shot. Saul Hausman, well, normally he spends his Saturdays in Temple, but tonight he is center stage, practicing at the theater at Madison Square Garden for his once-in-a-lifetime shot at $1 million. His bubbly wife, Robin, said that, well, last night he snored more than normal, and his 6-year-old twins, they're as cute as can be and very supportive. But he has a very, very good lucky charm tonight. He said he went and saw his rabbi, Rabbi Portnoy, and he very kindly suggested that if he wants God on his side, that he better wear his yarmulke tonight. So let's all root for Saul Hausman, who will take his shot at $1 million after the rookie game. Dick?
Craig, all I got to say is if you know that he snored last night, you're really doing the job as a reporter, and you have gone beyond the call of duty. Getting ready for the second half of the rookie game here at Madison Square Garden on All-Star Saturday night here in New York. And there is Spike Lee, who has been getting a lot of mileage out of that videotape camera for posterity. Maybe some of these shots will appear in one of his future films.
Also, the assistant coach of the East, Bob McAdoo. We'd like to talk about him after we get through here with this distribution of dunks and layups, three-point shooting with the points for the East and the West. You know, Bob McAdoo is the only player that didn't make the top 50 who has an MVP, 3 scoring titles, 2 rings, and over a 14-year career averaged 20 points and 9 rebounds a game.
Chauncey Billups starts off the second half and misses from the outside. So the West with Antonio Daniels in the backcourt, along with Bobby Jackson. Here's Maurice Taylor shooting over Van Horn, and Tim Thomas gets the rebound. So it's Thomas of the Sixers, Mercer and Billups of the Celtics, Ilgauskas for the Cleveland Cavaliers, and here's Pete Van Horn of the New Jersey Nets. Billups trying to crash the board on a tip, and it's finally laid in and by Chauncey Billups. Billups out of Colorado, the third pick in the draft, as the Boston Celtics going with a lot of youth and have already won a lot more games this year than they did all of last year.
Well, they're running a 12-man rotation. They continue to press. Everything is going well for them. They have any number of guys can be the star of the game for them on back-to-back nights. And then Antoine Walker, who is having an all-star season, and he's right there almost in the top 10 in 4 categories.
Antonio Daniels and Van Horn and Ilgauskas fighting for the loose ball. Comes up to the East, 42-40. The East has never led in this game. They've tied it once at 33, and now they tie it again at 42. Keith Van Horn with the put-in. He has a...
Well, you can see how quick Van Horn is in changing ends of the floor. That's why New Jersey is so dangerous with him at that 4 position.
Roderick Rhodes misses a 3. Long rebound into the hands of Ron Mercer. He'll take it the distance, and he misses the lay-in. Van Horn with the follow. And the East had a chance to take its first lead of the game.
Nice pass.
Daniels to Jackson. Not about to challenge Ilgauskas, but he will on the long shot. And maybe he shouldn't challenge him from there either. Here is Billups. Ilgauskas and the East with its first lead of the game, 44-42.
Now before the play before this, Mercer came down the floor right in the middle, laid it up over the front of the rim. That's a very hard shot. People think that's easy. You should either dunk it there or lay the ball up off the glass. Get to the angle so that it makes it easy for yourself. Now, once again, after that, we had an exchange. See, Billups could have forced that right here. It was a nice fake. Give it up to the big fella. Anytime those big fellas are running, reward them for running.
Billups picked up by Taylor. And they have Jackson posting up against Van Horn. Or I should say the other way around. Van Horn going in and is fouled. He had the ball knocked away, but was fouled. And will go to the line. Quickly, they saw the advantage that Van Horn had against the 6'1", Bobby Jackson.
See, Van Horn gives you the total package. Yeah, he's averaging 20 points, but he not only gives you the 2-point game, he gives you the 3-point game because he attempts 4 every outing. He's an 84% foul shooter, and I know at Utah, Rick Majerus used to talk all the time about the fact that when the game is on the line, in the last 2 minutes of play, he shoots over 90% on foul.
All-time leading scorer for the running Utes, and they're right back up there. Rick Majerus doing another fine job for Utah.
Sure
without Van Horn, they've lost only 1 game so far. Road loss against New Mexico in the pit. 46-42, the East with the lead. Thomas on the deflection, and it's going to be East ball as the Rhodes lost it. Stepped out of bounds.
Yeah, it bounced right off his head.
Ron Mercer, former Kentucky Wildcat, playing with 2 other Kentucky players on Rick Pitino's Celtics with a quick turnaround, and Mercer gives the East a 6-point lead.
So he's a good post-up player, Dick, against smaller players at the 2-guard position. He's terrific at coming off screens and reading defenders. He loves to hit that curl and then knock in that jump shot on the move.
There's a nice move by Taylor, but he could not score, and the East coming back down with it. The East on a 10-0 run. With 3 minutes gone by in the second half, Van Horn changing hands, and Van Horn now with 12 points and 9 rebounds, and a timeout called by Dave DeBusschere and the West squad.
That was just a beautiful pass by Billups as he threads the needle. Just great. That excellent teamwork. Now, we caught it as the pass was caught by Van Horn, but how about the fact that he takes it from the right hand to the left and finishes with the baby hook?
First All-Star game at Madison Square Garden since 1968, and the East Stars won 144-124. And in that game, Willis Reed, playing for the hometown New York Knicks, scored 16 points. But the star of the game was Hal Greer of the Philadelphia 76ers. He was 8 for 8 from the field, 21 points, and the All-Star MVP in 1968. And there is Willis Reed. Of course, we all remember making the dramatic entrance in Game 7 of the 73 title against the Lakers.
There are only 2 players in the history of the NBA who are MVP of the season, MVP of the All-Star game, and MVP of the finals in the same year. Willis Reed, Michael Jordan. Not bad.
That speaks volumes, Hubie. No question about it. Right now, let's check in with Brian Burwell.
Testing 1 2. Testing 1 2. Oh, I'm sorry.
Me all the time.
Dan, okay, well, so you can appreciate this. Dan Rather. I'm glad I'm with the pro. He understands this. This is a pleasant diversion for you, seeing the kind of week you've had, huh?
Well, it is. You know, I love news, but I also love sports. In particular, I love basketball. It's a nice diversion. Came out with my wife, Fighting Heart, Gene Rather, and we love the Garden. What a great night to be here. I love this rookie game.
Now, I know you're a big Georgetown fan, but do you like the pro game or the college game better?
You know, it depends on the game. I don't want to duck the question. I am a big Georgetown fan, particularly a fan of Coach John Thompson. But the other night when North Carolina played Duke, I mean, you know, the score wasn't close. It was a terrific game. I like the college game when we get down near the end of the season. And I love the pro game all the time. I mean, there's so much talent out here.
All right, well, thank you very much.
Good to see you, Brian.
All righty. And I think I can handle this throwback. Let's go back to you at courtside.
All right, Brian, thank you very much. The East had scored all 12 points in this half before the last hoop. It's 50-44 in favor of the East squad. And here is a turnover, and here is Jackson to Roderick Rose, and Jackson. Well, talk about the slam dunk contest. That would get some points, Hubie.
Yeah, that was nice. And what you see in Roderick Rose here, you know, defensively make things happen. And that's what they like about his game in Houston, whether he plays small forward or the 2-guard position.
Ilgauskas with the baseline jumper, and it's 52-46 the East. Jackson with Denver with the ball. Roderick Rose of the Houston Rockets. Maurice Taylor for the Clippers up front, along with Antonio Daniels of Vancouver. Tipped in by Michael Stewart of the Sacramento Kings.
You know, one game this year, Michael Stewart had 19 rebounds against Phoenix, and that's a mean 19 rebounds. Phoenix, a very, very tough ball club, having a sensational year.
He's averaged 7 rebounds a game, and he had a tremendous Stewart, and he could not stop Ron Mercer. Mercer went around Stewart as if he were only 6'4".
That's because he missed that last layup. He said, I am putting this one down with some authority.
The East in front, 54-48. We're in the second half, and here is Jackson with the reverse layup. So Bobby Jackson has 15 points to lead the West. Ilgauskas has 16, the top scorer in the East. Ron Mercer comes back, and he's got 8 now, 6 here in the second half.
Now you can see at the other end in that last completion by Bobby Jackson, he's got some hop, and he can really finish with either hand.
Antonio Daniels with a 2-point basket. And it's a 4-point East lead. The West led by as many as 11 in the first half. They were up by 4 at the half. And here's Mercer again working against Daniels.
Pretty move.
Jackson with a rebound. Jackson has averaged 5 rebounds a game. Reese Taylor, former Michigan Wolverine, who has come off the bench and is the 6th leading scorer for the LA Clippers, cuts the East lead to 2.
When he stays inside of 15 feet tonight, Dick, he's making a lot of nice things. Oh, pretty.
And it was Billups who set up Ilgauskas, so Chauncey Billups, who has started 40 now of the 47 games the Celtics have played. He has 6 assists tonight.
Toughest thing for point guards when they come in the NBA is to get down below the foul line in the paint, Dick. And when you draw the big defenders to make the pass.
You know, there is Taylor again on a lob pass. How impressed are you? You've been in basketball for decades. At these rookies playing at the level that they play in today.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know, we're talking bigger players, quicker, more hop. They're in weight training right from high school now to college. Where back in the 60s and 70s, weights basically, you know, were obsolete. And now you have guys who can really do a lot of things. But what the purists in the game want to see is the shot come back. They want to see the better shooting percentages, especially the shooting percentages at the foul line. In the 70s and 80s, this league had always had 6 teams shooting over 80% on the foul line. This year and for the 4 previous, the winning percentage was 77, and we have 6 teams shooting in the 60s.
Speaking about a shooter, Larry Bird, who will coach the East team, and he's done a terrific job. And it's true that a lot of the Indiana Pacers are healthy now where they haven't been in the past, but they're playing hard for Larry Bird, leading the Eastern Conference.
So right now, everything is going well for them. And when you look at it, you say Reggie Miller is having a good year. McKee is back. And then also the key guy is Rick Smits is back. Last year, McKee and Smits missed 30 and 32 games.
But Larry Bird has his team at the top of the heap at 33 and 13. Want to remind you, the Sony $1 Million Shot is coming up. And Saul Holzman from Forest Hills, New York, will make the attempt from the three-point barrier. Well, Billups hit a three before, and on the jump ball, here is the East controlling Cedric Henderson with the layup, and the East in front now by the score of 63 to 56. Taylor posting up. Tracy McGrady in the game defending, and nothing McGrady could do against Maurice Taylor.
You see what I mean? Earlier he was struggling. He was 2 for 8. Majority of them were missed jump shots. Oh, boy.
And that was Cedric Henderson, who has come off the bench to score 10 tonight.
Well, you see how quick he is in changing ends, Dick. Now, there was a score at the other end. They just got that ball in, and he's already past his man up the side.
Antonio Daniels rims it. Fortson tips it in. Very strong. Former Cincinnati Bearcat, 6'7" Danny Fortson makes it a 5-point game. Ilgauskas in the lineup has 18. Keith Van Horn, who is on the bench now, has 12 for the East. And Bobby Jackson with 15, the leading scorer for the West. And there is Henderson going in, and no one able to stop him. He now has 12.
Remember we said at the top of the show, it's an all-star game. They just got together yesterday. It would be Matador defense. All you're asking him to do is just don't make it a rat race.
Kelvin Cato inside misses. Ilgauskas again defends, but Cato converts. And it's 67-62, the East by 5.
Look out.
And Tracy McGrady controls after the miss lob. Under 6 minutes remaining here in the second half of the 5th Schick rookie game here on All-Star Saturday night. McGrady misses from inside, and the West down by 5, trying to make a run here with 5:40 remaining in the second. This is 2 50-minute halves in this game. Williams misses from outside, and out of the pack, Brevin Knight. Here's Tracy McGrady, and there's a slam dunk worth some notice.
Well, Tracy McGrady is a young man with a lot of talent. In the exhibition season, everyone thought that he was going to have a sensational year, exploding, coming off the bench, got injured, got way behind, and then out of Toronto came a lot of people questioning his work habits. And now you got to remember, young guy away from home, a lot of travel, a ton of games, and he's not getting playing time. Well, that's the toughest thing about the NBA. You got to work through all of these things, and then you got to prove to your coaching staff as well as your peers that you are willing to work for your minutes.
Fortson is fouled and will go to the line. This weekend, NBA fans around the world can get a courtside seat to All-Star Weekend by logging on to NBA.com. 2 robotic cameras allow fans to direct and shoot their own show. Log on to NBA.com, and that camera situated behind us, looking over our shoulders, Mr. Brown. Fortson misses the free throw.
Well, Fortson in 21 minutes a game has given Denver about 9 points, 6 rebounds. You know, he's a 78% foul shooter. When you go back to his career at Cincinnati in 3 years, he's second only to Oscar Robertson in points and rebounds, you know, in the history of their basketball program.
6-point game, the East in front. The East has won the last 2 years.
Look out.
Here is McGrady on a great feed from Brevin Knight.
So you always tell guys, when you play guys up front, keep your forearm on there, right in their chest. That way that they can't backdoor you and get to the air. Fortson lost contact with McGrady.
Van Horn, who replaced Ilgauskas in the lineup, picks up the loose ball. Quick pass out to McGrady. Goes around Roderick Rhodes and stuffs it through. 18-year-old Tracy McGrady, who has played in 31 of the 47 games the Raptors have been in. And the biggest lead of the game for the East now, double digits, 10 points, 73 to 63. Alvin Williams.
He just pushed off. Bad offensive foul.
Jackson Fortson with another offensive rebound and a conversion. Kind of like Danny Fortson, only 6'7", but playing much bigger inside.
Dick, 260 pounds on that frame. He's really a horse in there.
Cedric Henderson with 14 points. He is out of Memphis and the 45th pick in the draft, so there's another player not chosen in the first round. 75-65, the East by 10. 3:45 remaining in the second half. Roderick Rhodes on the miss, and Rhodes helps Jackson get it back.
Oh, great
block by Henderson, and they'll call it out of bounds. It'll be, let's see, West ball, I believe.
What a defensive recovery here by Henderson. You talk about quickness. You know, he's 6'7", but look at the arms. Just watch as he just measures this one, sends it right out of there.
Right now, let's check in with Brian Burwell.
All right, I'm here with another father-son duo with a Hollywood slant, Timothy Hutton and his 10-year-old son, Noah. How many games do you get to go here?
Pardon me?
How often do you get to go see games together?
We go, I don't know, 5 games a year or so, just about.
You must be loving sitting courtside every game, huh?
Oh, yeah, it's a blast.
Who's your favorite player out here?
Out here right now, Chauncey Billups.
And how about tomorrow night with the All-Stars?
Penny Hardaway is my favorite all time.
How about you?
Tomorrow I'll go with Penny Hardaway, Grant Hill. It's great to see Van Horn out here. It's great to watch.
All right, thank you very much. Let's go back to Dick.
All right, the Huttons enjoying, father and son enjoying All-Stars Saturday night. And the three-point basket before made by Alvin Williams, and here is Kelvin Cato on the free throw.
You know, Dick, there are 2 other players who are starting on NBA teams right now, second-round draft picks, who are not in this game. Anthony Johnson out of the College of Charleston, a 6'3" point guard, is starting for Sacramento. He was the 40th pick in the draft. And then for Denver, Eric Washington, second-round pick, 47th guy, starting for Denver out of the University of Alabama. So that's saying a lot here now, Dick, for second-round draft picks, because we have some, you know, guys in this game, second-round picks, who are doing a good job.
Henderson misses the lay, and they are. And, of course, the lottery picks, not automatic that if you're a lottery pick, you're going to play in this game.
That's right.
Here is Roderick Rhodes down the middle. Roderick Rhodes, 3 years in Kentucky, transferred to USC. Keith Van Horn with the fake and the lay-in. And the East leading 77-72. It's a 5-point game. The East leading with 2:47 to go. And Jackson, no, that was Fortson who slammed it through. And they give the basket to Kelvin Cato. So Cato now with 9 in the game. I tell you, this game picking up in pace in the last 2:35.
Well, what's happening here is this guy Cato refuses to come over half court, okay? What he does is he gives you that wave at one end of the floor. Everyone runs down the other end, and he hangs around half court. The shot goes up in his steal, and he takes off. So we're wondering, whoa, boy, he must be running and filling. No, it's because he hasn't crossed half court yet defensively.
Michael Stewart has replaced Cato in the middle for the West All-Stars.
Someone's saying out there, why be so cruel? I'm just stating a fact.
That's why you're here. Chauncey Billups will come into the game replacing McGrady, so the East team will have Brevin Knight and Chauncey Billups, 2 point guards, along with Cedric Henderson, Ron Mercer, and Keith Van Horn. So 2 point guards in the game for the East. They lead by 3. Their lead has been cut down. We're up by as many as 10.
Well, you have to go into Van Horn. Come on, he's got Bobby Jackson down here. You have to see that.
6'1", guarding 6'10", and a good play by Stewart. Now here's Van Horn, and a foul by Rhodes from behind.
You know, it's one thing that is missing. You know, you can run pick and roll all you want, but when people switch, you have to understand mismatches. Now, Van Horn, Bobby Jackson has given Van Horn 10 inches in here right now. So will you please go down inside to the guy? He's going to shoot up over the top of him, take him to the rim, and if he fouls him, a great shooter, a potential 3-point play.
And Danny Fortson leaves the game for the West squad. Ilgauskas has come in the game. Free throw is missed by Van Horn, the second one. It's 78-74, the East lead. Van Horn with 15 points and 9 rebounds. Making a bid for MVP. It'll be interesting what they do. Ilgauskas has 18.
Nice.
And there is Stewart on the feed from Jackson. Under 2 minutes to go, and it's a 2-point game. The East in front, 78-76.
Ilgauskas went for the shot block, and the offensive player, Stewart, came right up on the other side of the rim.
Van Horn misses. A couple of big guys inside, but it winds up into the hands of Roderick Rhodes. And the West, they can tie it up or take the lead if they hit a three with 1:39 remaining in the second half of the rookie game. Maurice Taylor missing from the corner.
Yeah, he's been leaving the outside shot short all night long. Inside, he's problem.
Van Horn stucks it through. So Keith Van Horn, who had only 6 points at the end of the first half, now with 17 to give the East a 4-point lead. Daniels challenging Ilgauskas, thinks better of it. Daniels driving through, fine play. Antonio Daniels from Bowling Green.
He's having an excellent night tonight. He's shown us everything. Perimeter game, off the drive, will challenge the shot blockers down inside, and he'll make the pass.
Father, a former member of the Harlem Globetrotters, and Daniels might have fouled Chauncey Billups. See if that is a 3-point shot coming up for Billups. 54.6 on the clock, and a 2-point lead for the East, and Chauncey Billups on the free throw line. So this game coming down to the wire, as it has the last 2 years. The East won by 5 last year at Cleveland, and by 2 years ago at San Antonio. Tim Thomas will replace Brevin Knight for the East.
Well, the MVP awards: 94 Penny Hardaway, 95 Eddie Jones, 96 Damon Stoudemire, 97 Allen Iverson.
I don't think it'll be a point guard this time.
I agree. Yeah, we've had some guys up front do some nice things here tonight.
A few. Huh? They're going to redo that first free throw. There was a lane violation. Billups misses the free throw, and the rebound by Taylor. Daniels has it. 19 on the shot clock, 47 plus on the game clock. 3-point East lead.
2 possessions here now.
Daniels loses it, and Chauncey Billups has Henderson ahead of the field. Here is Cedric Henderson. Misses the layup. Tim Thomas with the tip-in and a 5-point lead for the East. And here's Bobby Jackson. He definitely is an MVP candidate. He misses a 3. Billups the rebound. Runs into Jackson, who gets it away. Great play. And Michael Stewart, who was a ball boy for 2 years with the Sacramento Kings, brings the West to within 3.
Now, with only 21 seconds, you cannot allow them to run the clock out here. There you go.
Ilgauskas throws it away. Rhodes for 3. And the rebound, Thomas. It is a 3-point game.
Gotta foul him.
And they do, as Jackson fouls Tim Thomas with 12.2 seconds remaining in the game.
Oh, this is just a great play. As Jackson goes to the floor, he takes the ball away from Billups and then goes through his legs, feeds the ball up for a score.
12.2 on the clock, and Thomas will go to the free throw line. He's got 2 at the free throw line from Villanova. Playing with the Philadelphia 76ers, has started 13 games for them.
Now we have a 4-point spread. Of 5, it's over. But we always say with 4, we never assume that they're not going to foul a guy taking a 3 for a 4-point play, since it's happened 125 times or more in the NBA.
Jackson's 3-point attempt, an air ball, and with 3.9 to go, it's going to be the East winning for the 3rd straight year, taking this rookie game at Madison Square Garden. And the final score in the 5th annual Schick rookie game, the East rookies beat the West by a score of 85-80. For the East, Ilgauskas had 18 points and 7 rebounds. Keith Van Horn had 17 points and 10 rebounds. Cedric Henderson, 14 points. And it was Bobby Jackson with 15, followed by Antonio Daniels with 14 for a well-balanced West team. And right now, let's send it over to Brian Burwell.
Thanks a lot, Dick. Zadrunas, you are the first foreign-born MVP of the rookie game. How does that feel?
It feels great. I had a lot of fun in this game, and I'm just just going to continue to work hard and hope I'm going to get better.
Now, you know the guy who won it last year ended up as the Rookie of the Year. You think that's possible?
No, I'm not thinking about that right now. I'm just working hard. I just want to win games for my team. That's it.
What do you think the folks back in Lithuania are saying right now? Are you the new Arvydas Sabonis?
I don't know. They're just happy for me. That's it.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Let's go on back to Dick.
All right, Brian, thank you very much. So Žydrūnas Ilgauskas, 8 of 10 from the field, the most valuable player in the game, 18 points and 7 rebounds as the East defeats the West by a score of 85-80.